Welcome to Dr. Mensch, the radio show that takes a real, compassionate look at mental health from A to Z. Join child and adolescent psychiatrist Dr. Gil Lichtshine each week as we explore topics that matter: autism, ADHD, anxiety, depression, OCD, schizophrenia, behavioral challenges, neurodevelopmental disorders, and more. No stigma, no judgment. Just honest conversations, new therapies, breakthrough treatments, and real solutions for real people. Mental health is not a weakness. It's a treatable medical condition, and help is available. Join the conversation now by calling the studio at 888-994-4995, Studio A. This is Dr. Mensch, where hope and healing begin.
Good afternoon from soggy Boca Raton, Florida. This is Dr. Gil Lichtshine, aka Dr. Mensch, welcoming you to my show. I'm a board-certified child, adolescent, and adult psychiatrist in Boca Raton, Florida, where my office is located at 7100 West Camino Real, Suite 404. My phone number 561-300-4052. I can't believe it's already August. The public schools are starting here in a week. Colleges are going to be starting in the next 3 to 4 weeks. So summer is kind of winding down. We're in the dog days of August. Today is the Major League Baseball trading deadline. My New York Mets are sellers and selling and trading everybody for a lost season. And talking a little bit about sports. I wanted to today discuss about sports, but kind of sports and politics. And to me, I find it kind of unfortunate because I find sports to be like a distraction, something to kind of get your mind off of things from a crazy world that we live in. And I'm haven't really I kind of stay away from watching too much news, but this past couple of weeks, we have the war in Iran. Let's see what else. We've had these wildfires on the West Coast. The whole Nancy Guthrie thing is back in the news. What else is going on? Last week we had, that buffoon Anthony Fauci testify, or whatever he called it, before Congress. And then something that's kind of been percolating is this whole thing in the WNBA and this whole trans, stuff that has kind of exploded from a comment that Sophie Cunningham, who's a basketball player, I believe, on the Indiana team. I'm not a big watcher of the WNBA. I've always believed that the WNBA has always been too political and too woke and kind of blurring the lines of trying to get their nose in too many things when they just should be playing sports. And like Laura Ingraham said a few years ago, just dribble the basketball and keep your mouth shut. But I think a week or two ago, she came out kind of defending girls and women in sports, saying that she, is an advocate of protecting girls and women from biological males playing in female sports. I mean, I think it's a pretty reasonable opinion that, this athlete gave, but this caused such a major firestorm. Media saying she's anti-trans, and you have protests at WNBA games, and I just kind of find it kind of striking that you hear about athletes and as role models for the younger generation, and there's, I don't say an expectation, but the media kind of wants some of these athletes to take up positions or express their opinions on world events, and that when they do, and if it doesn't fit the narrative, they get pilloried. So Sophie Cunningham, I think she's been in the WNBA for, 5-6 years. Again, I'm not a real follower. I think she's from somewhere in the Midwest. coming from a middle class, intact family. I mean, was she a WNBA superstar? I wouldn't say she's like the LeBron James or Kevin Durant or Giannis Antetokounmpo of the WNBA, but she's a veteran. I mean, attractive woman. I think she. I've seen her on some commercials on TV promoting, I don't remember what, and I know she was like a ring girl at a UFC event, I think about a month ago, but I mean, she's not like the face of the WNBA, but she made a comment, and now she's becoming like the face of the WNBA, but perhaps for the wrong reasons. And, athletes, are like the elite in their sport. I mean, they have God-given talent that they were born with, and that's allowed them to excel in whatever sport they play in. I'm in often awe of all these like hockey players, tennis players. Some of these feats that they accomplish is unbelievable, and even like the frequently, like seldomly used player on a baseball team, or the 12th man off of the bench in the NBA, or the player on a practice squad on a football team. They're still elite. The fact that they made it to the on the team, and maybe they only play 2-3 minutes a game, but still to make it on a professional team, basketball, hockey, football, baseball, soccer, you name it. These people are elite at what they do. Even like the 150th ranked tennis player in the world, okay, he's maybe not Yannick Sinner or I don't know, the number one woman, what's her name, Arina Sabalenka, but still, you're ranked 150th in tennis, you're pretty darn good. And so there's this kind of expectation or pressure put on these players that they have to start commenting on world events or political events, when to me they shouldn't have to. They're playing tennis, they're playing basketball, they're there to entertain people. I think that there was this past Australian Open, and what was the name? She's Amanda Anisimova, a top 5 women tennis player. She actually is from North Miami Beach, so she's a South Floridian. I think she had just won a match. I don't know if it was like quarterfinals or round of 16 or whatever. And she's talking about her performance and the results. And some male reporter, and he's had this, like, I don't remember what his name is. He was from I don't remember what outlet he was from. I think he was an American, but he had a reputation for kind of stirring up trouble. He starts asking her about like stuff that's going on in the country, and trying to get her to talk out against President Trump. And I give her credit. She basically shut him down and saying, that's irrelevant. And what's the relevance of your questions? We're here talking about my tennis match. This is not the time nor the place to talk about President Trump or whatever he wanted to talk about. And I think more athletes should have the right to kind of take that line, saying, I'm playing a sport, I'm here to entertain people, this is my career, this is what I do, this is my profession. I'm also here to show my talents to the world and hopefully bring some joy and entertainment to the people who watch me. I'm not here to make a comment about President Trump or whoever or whatever, the war or this or the economy. I'm here to play tennis, I'm here to play baseball, I'm here to throw a football. And so then when, like, Anisimova, I think she got a little flack by some of the media that she didn't answer the question, or she avoided it or deflected. No, she didn't deflect, she didn't avoid. She simply said, this is not the place to make these comments. This is a place to talk about my performance in the match, my next opponent. We're here to talk about sports. Sports and politics should kind of stay separate, but unfortunately it's becoming too intertwined and too enmeshed to the point then it's being used as some sort of platform to proceed or to promote some type of agenda. So this thing with Sophie Cunningham, what she said, I don't remember if it was again last week or the week before last, she never came out and said, I despise trans people, I hate trans people, I'm anti-trans. All she said was, I'm here to protect girls and women's sports, and that biological men shouldn't be playing in girls' sports. Okay, she didn't say biological men shouldn't be playing, period. She didn't say I'm opposed to trans playing in sports. All she said was biological men shouldn't be playing in girls' sports. To me, that's pretty sensical. Like I said, I don't know how the WNBA, the same league, would, what their attitude would be is if all of a sudden LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo, name any NBA star, or even, Cooper Flagg, Kevin Durant. How about even Michael Jordan? How old is Michael Jordan? 63 years old. Let's say Michael Jordan decided today, I identify as a woman, and I'm going to play in the WNBA. I don't know if the WNBA would really like it when they see these male basketball players just destroy everybody in the league and basically create an unfair playing advantage. I mean, there's nobody in the WNBA that will be able to guard LeBron James. I don't care if LeBron James is going to be 42 years old in December, but LeBron James at 42 will dominate anybody in the WNBA. That's a fact. And so let's see how the WNBA will react if, again, LeBron James or any NBA player decided one morning they identified as a woman and they want to play in a women's a league. How about baseball? There's this new women's baseball league. Imagine if Mike Trout or Bryce Harper or Aaron Judge woke up one morning and said, you know what? My name is Aaron, E-R-I-N. I'm Aaron Judge, and I'm going to play for the New York women's baseball team. Well, he'll crush every pitch 600 feet, and he could potentially hurt some of the players too. The other thing too, LeBron James playing in the WNBA, not only will he score 150 points a game, but imagine he's crashing the boards against women a foot shorter than him that weigh 100 pounds less. He'll physically hurt them. I mean, you'll have major injuries. You'll have players like going to the hospital with serious injuries because he'll just dominate them. So I just don't see this kind of uproar. And then, for example, last week there was a game. I don't remember what team. I think it was Indiana was playing in Seattle, and you had these two girls who were there supporting Sophie Cunningham with a sign, or they were wearing some type of shirts in support of Sophie Cunningham. And apparently, the co-owner of the Seattle basketball team accosted them and berated them. I mean, that's completely inappropriate. I mean, you're a co-owner of a basketball team. You shouldn't be stooping to the level of basically a thug or of a little infant and acting like that. You should be professional. And if you have a differing opinion than these people, that's fine. Discuss it civilly, discuss it professionally, discuss it appropriately. But that's the problem, is that the WNBA wants these players. And then yesterday, I believe Caitlin Clark was asked after her game about her opinion because she's a teammate of Sophie Cunningham. And Caitlin Clark basically says, I don't want to talk about this. Let's talk basketball. and the media is getting in her grill about it. Why? Why should she have to give an opinion? Maybe she's not well versed in it, and maybe she doesn't want to give an opinion because she's not, that's not something she's educated about, or I don't want to say cares about, or is on the top of her mind. But it seems like, especially in the WNBA, that these players, they want these players to be opinionated or give their opinions on things, but it has to fit a certain narrative, and that if it doesn't fit that narrative, they get criticized, blacklisted, protested, called names. Now they're calling Sophie Cunningham that she's a trans hater. But I never heard her ever say once that she hates trans people. But the media wants to kind of fan the flames, so to speak, create something bigger than what it really is. And this shouldn't even be an issue. Like, this is not something that should be the discussion of a basketball game. You should talk about how the game was played, how the players performed, not about, well, what do you think about Sophie Cunningham's opinion about biological males in females games? I mean, speak that at a different forum that's unrelated to sports. Sports figures are sports figures. They're not politicians. I remember a few years ago, LeBron James criticizing I think this was maybe 4 or 5 years ago, the Lakers were playing, I believe, the Houston Rockets in a preseason game in China. And Daryl Morey, who was then the GM of the Houston Rockets, made some comment in support of the protests going on in Hong Kong. And then LeBron James comes out and basically, criticizes Daryl Morey in the media. It's like Daryl Morey needs to stay in his lane and basically shut his mouth and not, speak stupidity, essentially. And this is coming from a guy who the year before is talking out of his butt about the whole George Floyd and how this and that, and the guy who's in bed with the Chinese and making millions and millions of dollars, from the Chinese government with Nike and all that. But I mean, LeBron, my point is, if you want to get political, run for office, get your own talk show. Go on CNN or whatever news outlet and have your own show and talk whatever you want. You're a basketball player. You should talk about playing basketball. You want to open up a school, you want to open up this or that, or donate $1 million to a charity, great. But you want to start talking politics and start criticizing people, first educate yourself and know what you're saying before you start spewing it out, because it makes you look like a fool. But again, this is kind of my pet peeve, where sports, which is meant to be entertainment, is kind of interweaving with politics. And the NBA and the WNBA are probably the ones that are the most guilty. Football it's kind of pulled back. Baseball and hockey, to some degree, kind of stay out of the politics. I know, like in hockey, when they've had pride nights and you had hockey players kind of not want to participate, the NHL has basically said fine. They didn't make a big deal out of it. I know there was recently this big fallout in San Francisco with a pride night, and there were several San Francisco Giants players that didn't want to participate or had some biblical scriptures on their hats, and they got a lot of flack. Those players expressing their opinion that they're practicing religious and whatever, I think they were Catholic or Christian of some sort, that they're expressing their right to express their opinion about a certain matter, but it didn't fit the narrative, so they got blasted as being homophobic, when they weren't at all expressing any homophobic views. They're just expressing their own beliefs. So, again, the thing is with sports and politics is that as long as it fits a narrative, fine. But if it doesn't, then these players get vilified. On that note, I'm going to take a brief commercial break, and we'll be back in a couple minutes.
What happens when the mind of a healer crosses over into the darkness of the human soul? From authors David Icovetti, Dr. Gil Lichtshine, and Yolanda DeLuca comes a chilling psychological thriller, Dr. Mensch, A Prescription for Evil. This gripping novel follows a respected Boca Raton psychiatrist who secretly descends into madness, transforming into a modern-day king of the underworld. Inspired by true events and Dr. Gil's childhood connection to a mob family, this story blurs the line between sanity and evil, genius and destruction. Unforgettable, disturbing, impossible to put down. Get your copy today on Amazon.com. Dr. Mensch, A Prescription for Evil, a 2020 psychological crime thriller. You're listening to Dr. Mensch with child and adolescent psychiatrist Dr. Gil Lichtshine. For a copy of his powerful new book, Dr. Mensch's Prescription for Evil, visit Amazon.com. For more information or to schedule a consultation, contact Dr. Gil directly at 561-300-4052 or visit docgil.com. Now, let's get back to the show.
Welcome back. This is Dr. Gil Lichtshine, aka Dr. Mensch, talking about sports and politics and how, really there should be a separation like of church and state. Well, there really should be a separation of politics with sports. And that if it's an issue and it can't be separated, any athlete should be able to freely express his or her own opinion. And if it doesn't go along with the narrative, that's fine. And someone shouldn't be criticized or vilified or characterized or called this or that because they said something that wasn't the narrative. I don't know if the Indiana team or the WNBA felt that Sophie Cunningham was, we're going to speak on behalf of the trans community and say, that biological males should be welcome in female locker rooms. I don't know if that's what they expected her to say. She spoke from her heart. She spoke truthfully, sincerely, and it clearly didn't fit the narrative of the powers that be in the WNBA, and now and certainly in the liberal media, and so she's getting pilloried and called, I'm not going to say she's being maybe a racist. I don't know. That term racist has been so polluted nowadays that anything you say can make you a racist. But and so for that reason, I would think it might make certain athletes not want to say anything because, if you can't speak your mind, speak where you're coming from. If you were raised in a certain way to believe certain things, again, if you are a very religious person, and you believe in the Bible speaks against homosexuality, for example. And so if you are a devout Catholic, an Orthodox Jew, practicing Muslim, and believe in the Quran or the New Testament or the Hebrew Bible, it states that, I believe in the book of Leviticus, it says a man sleeps with a man is an abomination, okay? And that's what the Bible states. I mean, so if someone says, hey, I don't believe in trans or this or that, does it mean that they're a racist? No. Does it mean that they're a bigot? Or does it mean that they should be hated upon because they believe that, or they don't believe in biological males being in the female locker room? No, it doesn't mean that they're a racist or that they hate trans people. It means that they don't believe they should be in the locker room. And their opinion should be respected. You may not agree with it, but it should be respected. If someone says, like, I don't really find the lifestyle of a homosexual appealing, does it mean that they're a racist or hate gay people? No, it's just that they might be heterosexual and they find the lifestyle not appealing. Does it mean that they don't respect gay people? No. Does it mean that they don't have gay friends or like gay people? No. So no matter where your opinion is, where the athlete's opinion is, if you want an athlete to speak his or her mind, then you need to accept whatever they say, whether it's fitting the narrative or doesn't fit the narrative. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Even though Marie Antoinette may not have really said that, but it's always attributed to her. So you can't like have it always go your way. And Sophie Cunningham was a situation where what she said didn't go the way perhaps of the WNBA's powers that be or certain media outlets, and so now it's creating a firestorm. And you know what? Sophie Cunningham is just going about her business, playing and not letting this bother her. And that's the way it should be. Like, hey, you spoke your mind, you're being truthful, you're being honest, you're being sincere. This is who you are. And to me, I would think like any woman, young woman who's worked her butt off to attain excellence in sports, and to see someone who's biologically different and superior, has superior or physical abilities, and basically like wipes her records out or just wipes her away in competition, I would be upset. If I was a champion swimmer and all of a sudden I see someone who's a biological male destroy my record by a minute, or if I was a basketball player and see someone like LeBron James come and basically like destroy me in 2 seconds. Women should have their back. These women should have their abilities protected. And again, you may not agree, but you got to show respect, and calling them names, labeling them, saying that they're racist or this or that doesn't help matters. And to me, it shows that one side's being kind of very immature and infantile. People should just respect what Sophie Cunningham said, and may not go along with the narrative, but so be it. On that note, this has been Dr. Gil Lichtshine, aka Dr. Mensch. Hope everyone has a good week, and I will be back next Monday. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for Dr. Mensch with Dr. Gil Lichtshine, helping you navigate the world of mental health with clarity and care. If you or someone you love needs support, you're not alone. Treatment works and recovery is possible. To schedule a consultation or discuss non-medication therapies, personalized treatment plans, or psychiatric care, contact Dr. Gil directly at 561-300-4052 or visit docgil.com. You can catch us each week on South Florida Oldies Radio and streaming across all social platforms. Until next time.